guys, it's Nasim here. Now, after using the Galaxy S22 for about a month now, the one thing that kept coming to my mind whenever I was using it on a day-to-day basis was this one simple statement that I feel wraps up the S22 pretty perfectly. And that statement is, I think that the Galaxy S22 is the perfect phone for anyone who wants a phone under $1,000. And I say this because when you compare the S22 to the S22 Ultra or even the S22 Plus, it is slightly lacking when it comes to overall performance. And I only say slightly because at the end of the day, it still is an extremely powerful phone. And throughout my month of using it, it was able to do everything extremely well, just like on any other flagship. I could play games on it, I could surf the web, I could talk to my family, and I could watch movies with no hiccups whatsoever. And that's why I say that this is the perfect phone for people who want power without spending over $1,000, because this phone is still able to give you everything that you expect within a flagship, and you don't have to pay that extreme premium price. And I also admired the fact that I really didn't have any major issues with the S22. Like, I definitely had a few nitpicks, but I can honestly say that it was still a really good phone. And that's why after a month of using the Galaxy S22, I wanted to give you guys my experience with it and let you know why I think that it's a great phone and also why you should consider it as your main phone. Now, the next thing that I loved about my Galaxy S22 after 1 month of use was the amazing display. Now, the S22 has a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display that also supports an LTPO display that ranges from 48 to 120 Hz. And if I'm being honest, this is the best display that you'll get at this price range. I also love that Samsung has made 120Hz refresh rate the norm within their devices, because it always looks as smooth as ever. Whenever I'm scrolling through the OS, I get that premium feel, and that goes a long way for me. I also really loved how colorful the display was. Like right here, you can see me scrolling through the OS and it's really vibrant, it's really sharp, and it has a unique feel that only Samsung can do. I also really loved how responsive the haptics were. Like right here, you can see just how fast it is when I move or press on something, and there were never any times where I got lagging animations. Also, one of my favorite parts about the screen was that it didn't have a curved display like on the S22 Ultra, so there were never any times where I got those accidental touches. And unlike the S22 Plus and S22 Ultra's 1750 nit brightness, the S22 only gets around 1500 nits, which isn't that much of a difference. The other two phones were brighter, but I still was able to see whenever I was outside and the sun was shining, so it didn't really bother me at all. And now the last thing that I loved about the display on the S22 was that it had one of the best viewing experiences that you can get on any other phone at this price. The colors were nice, the sharpness was nice, and the size gave me a great viewing. And to show you guys what I mean, here's some examples of me watching videos and playing games.
Is okay. It's not doing that great so far. But you guys can also take into consideration that I am on 5G, I do have my brightness up, and I'm also taking a lot of pictures and doing a lot of recording. So I'm using...
Now, the next thing that I thought was okay about my Galaxy S22 after 1 month of use was the battery. Now, the Galaxy S22 has a 3700 mAh battery that I must say held its own weight, because I was still able to last for a good portion of the day, which is pretty okay for a battery that's under 4,000. I will be doing things like scripting videos, checking my emails, scrolling through the news, watching YouTube videos, and even occasionally playing games, which was pretty heavy use for me. And after all that, I would get about 3 to 5 hours of on-screen time, and I would end my day with about 10% left, which still was okay at times. Another bummer that I will say about the S22's battery is that it does not support 45 watt fast charging like on the S22 Plus and Ultra, but the charging speeds were good. Not good enough to kill overnight charging, but they were still pretty good. Now, the next thing that I loved about my Galaxy S22 after using it for a month was the pretty great software experience. And when I say software experience, I mean just how smooth this phone was able to run it. Like, for example, whenever I clicked on an app, refreshed pages within an app, and browse through the OS, I never had any hiccups whatsoever. And even though this is a normal thing when it comes to Samsung flagship phones, I still really appreciate it because you guys would be surprised at how many phones do not run software well. And even when I would do things like multi-screen multitasking, there wasn't one time where I got any bugs or app crashes, and I was able to use it with no problem. I also really like the fact that I could choose how I wanted to navigate through the phone. Like, I could either do the classic Android way or the newer swiping way, which was pretty cool. Now, the next thing that I really loved about my Galaxy S22 after using it for a month was the surprisingly great speakers. Now, the dual speakers on the Galaxy S22 were some of the best that I had used in a long time. There were many times where I would play my music out loud while I was working out, and it would become a habit because of how good they were. the bass was powerful, the sound was crystal clear, and the loudness was really high. I also really liked that whenever I turned up the volume, the quality didn't get worse like on a lot of other phones. And to show you guys what I mean, here's an example of me playing a video with the volume all the way up.
After using the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra for about a week now, the one thing that kept coming to my mind while I was using it on a day-to-day basis was this one simple statement that I feel wraps up the S22 Ultra as a whole. And that statement is, I think that the Galaxy S22 Ultra is the safest Android that you can get in 2022.
Now the final thing that I loved about my Galaxy S22 after using it for 1 month was the amazing cameras. And I think that the S22's camera had great quality to the point where I could say that I had no major complaints about it. Like right here, when we look at my daytime outside photos, I would say that these were really good pictures that turned out really well. The skies were very vibrant yet color accurate, and the trees and other aspects of nature were very sharp. My face also looked pretty color accurate, especially compared to last year's version, and the overall vibrancy of the pictures were great to no surprise. Now when we look at the inside daytime photos, I would say that these were also really great. Like right here, you can see that there was no graininess no matter how dark it got, and my selfies were top notch when compared to other smartphones. Next up, when we look at the outside nighttime photos, I would say that this is where the S22 performed at its best. Like right here, you can see that the night mode photos didn't give off any graininess, the colors were accurate, and my skin tone didn't make me look much lighter, which made me want to take more selfies. And the last environment that I wanted to cover when it came to pictures on the S22 was the inside nighttime photos. And when we look at them, you can see that there was some graininess, the quality wasn't as great, and sometimes it could struggle when there was no lighting, but once I turned the lights on, the quality got much better, the sharpness was still great, and the colors were very accurate, which definitely redeemed the camera overall. And when it came to video quality, the S22 was definitely great for its price. And to give you guys an example, here's some 4K videos that I took on it. And there it is, you guys. My final review on the Galaxy S22. Now let me know down in the comments, if you were to get a phone for under $1,000, which would you get? And if you guys made it to the end of this video, I would like to say thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It will be very appreciated. And as far as social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.